Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that is now quite old, is become very collectible, and is becoming increasingly more difficult to find, especially in this mint condition. Now, we are looking at the 1979 annual of Terry Nation's Dalek. And this was the one that was released in late 1978 by World Distributors for the upcoming 1979 year. So it is the classic Daleks as they appeared in the classic Doctor Who television series, which, as we all know, was a British science fiction series. It ran from 1963 through to 1989. And in the original television series, there was 7 actors who played the part of the Doctor, starting with William Hartnell, then Patrick Troughton, then John Pertwee, to Tom Baker, to Peter Davison, to Colin Baker, and finally Sylvester McCoy, before the series was axed in 1989. However, of course, the series came back in 2005, but that's another story. So the Daleks are probably the ones responsible for the success of early Doctor Who. The first episode of the Daleks, when the creature was seen at the end, well, you didn't actually see the creature, all you saw was a plunger coming towards Barbara. It catapulted the Doctor Who into unimaginary success, and started the beginning of Dalek Mania, which would run for a few years through the 1960s. So the Daleks made quite a lot of appearances in the classic Doctor Who television series. So the very first storyline was the Daleks, which ran for 7 episodes, and that featured the first Doctor with his companions Susan, Ian and Barbara. The second story was the Dalek invasion of Earth, and that was again the first Doctor story, and it featured also Susan, Ian and Barbara. The third story they appeared in was the episodes The Chase. Again, that was a 6-episode storyline. And again, it featured the first Doctor, Ian and Barbara, but this time it was with Vicky and Stephen. Now, in between, the Daleks had an episode basically to themselves, which was called Mission to the Unknown. It was 1 episode. It didn't feature any of the regular cast of Doctor Who, just the Daleks. And then we had the Daleks Master Plan, which was that giant 12-episode storyline, which featured the first Doctor, Stephen and Katrina. The next story was the first story to feature the second Doctor, and it was called The Power of the Daleks, and it ran for 6 episodes, and with the second Doctor and his companions Ben and Polly. The next serial was The Evil of the Daleks, and that ran for 7 episodes, and that featured the second Doctor, Jamie and Victoria. The next serial was the third Doctor serial, and that was a 4-episode story entitled Day of the Daleks, and that obviously featured the third Doctor, together with companions Joe, Grant, and unit regulars Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, Sergeant Benton and Captain Mike Yates. The next story was Frontier in Space, and that was also a 6-episode storyline, and that featured the third Doctor and Joe Grant again. Also featured the Ogrons, the Draconians, as well as the Daleks, and of course the Master. And then the next episode after that was the Planet of the Daleks, and that was also a 6-episode storyline. Combining the previous 2, the Frontier in Space and the Planet of the Daleks, made it for a 12-episode storyline. But 6 episodes in Planet of the Daleks, and that again featured the third Doctor, Joe, and the Daleks, and of course the Tholls, because they were back on, well, they wasn't on Skaro, but they was on Spyridon, and the Tholls have gone to investigate what the Daleks was up to as well. The last one to feature John Pertwee as the Third Doctor and Face the Daleks was in the episodes The Death of the Daleks, and that was a 4-episode storyline with the Third Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith. We then moved on to Tom Baker's reign as the Doctor, and his first encounter was with Genesis of the Daleks, which was a 6-episode storyline which featured Sarah Jane Smith again and Harry. Following on, we had Destiny of the Daleks, which was a few years later, and that was 4 episodes, and that featured the Fourth Doctor together with Romana 2, as portrayed by Lalla Ward, and K9 Mark II. The next storyline was the Resurrection of the Daleks, which was a 5th Doctor story, and it was only 2 episodes, but the episodes were longer in the 5th Doctor's reign, and also featured the companions Tegan and Turlough. The next storyline was a 6th Doctor story, and that was the Revelation of the Daleks. And again, that was 2 episodes, and that featured the 6th Doctor and Perry. And finally, the final story of the classic series to feature the Daleks was Remembrance of the Daleks, which was the 7th Doctor and Ace storyline that ran for 4 episodes. But then, of course, the Daleks did come back in the new series, but we're concentrating on the classic series. And this particular book is based on that classic series, and it is Terry Nation's Dalek Annual. This is it in front of us, and it says Terry Nation's Dalek Annual, 1979, authorised edition as seen on BBC TV. And there's some lovely artwork there of the Daleks doing battle, and a big snake thing there that's wrapped around a Dalek on the bottom left-hand corner here. Turn the book over, and on the back again we got some images of Daleks in different colours, and it says Terry Nation's Dalek Annual 1979, SBN number 7235 04903. And if we have a quick look at the spline, it says Terry Nation Dalek Annual 1979 and the World Distributors at the bottom. Okay, that's the annual. Let's open it up and let's have a look inside. Okay, so I've opened the annual. You're going to have to excuse me because I'm going to have to hold these pages open. Because this book was an unsold stock find, it hasn't been opened much. I've opened it and flicked through it, but I haven't opened the pages all the way through, and they would have a tendency to try and close when I press the book open because it's not been opened in its life. Okay, so here we are, the first page, and we've got the contents. And it says stories, blockade, the solution, the planet that cried wolf, picture stories, the human bombs, island of horror, and the features include repair analysis, ADF aptitude test file 1, committee of war, special report 1, number slip, kidnap on Caspi, battle statistics, surveillance report, ADP aptitude test file number 2, hostage, ADF aptitude test file 3, special report 2, and race to Golden Empire. And you got copyright 1978 by Terry Nation, as seen in BBC TV series Doctor Who. All rights reserved throughout the world. Published in Great Britain by World Distributors, Manchester Limited, a Pentos company. And you got the address there, and it's by arrangement with the British Broadcasting Company. Printed in Italy, SBN 7235 04903. And it says Terry Nation's Annual 1979. And on the bottom corner, if you can just see that there, we've got the £1.50 price, which was the cover price back in late 78, early 79. Okay, so we're on to the first story, which is called Blockade. And it's a full story with some colour illustrations. And that runs for 2, 4, 6 pages. And there's a lovely image of the Dalek there. That's 8 pages, 9 pages. So the story runs for 9 pages. A nice long story there. We've got repair analysis. And that basically is a Dalek ship that's been damaged, and that's how to repair them. You got the ADF aptitude test, which is Dalek file 1, which gives you the anatomy of a Dalek. Really nice detailing inside the Dalek there. Moving on, we've got Committee of War, and that's all about who the Daleks decide to call on the races. A special report, ADF member Himmlin Schlock, whatever all that is all about. And again, we've got various items that is used by the Daleks. Time-space visualizer is one, anti-gravitator is another, as shown in these images and the description. Member slip. Now I think this is this the next story? I don't think it is. The next story I think is Kidnap on Caspi. So mathematics, it tells you all about mathematics and the Daleks. Now, and then this is the next story, The Solution. And it is a story with monocolour illustrations. And that runs for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pages. And then we get to some battle statistics. And that's a three-sided war broke out on the Dalek slave planet of Istral. And then there's some number of battles. I don't know, there's questions and answers there, I think, by the looks of it. And then we come to the first comic strip story, and it's called The Human Bombs. And it is all colour artwork in this comic strip. And it runs for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. And then we come to the surveillance report. It says, on the Dalek-dominated planet of Mest, there has been a number of sabotage incidents. On each occasion, the Dalek guard has been rendered unconscious by gas, and then the saboteurs have gained admittance to the buildings by a sophisticated use of a super vibrating metal swords. Once placed in a strategic position and then detonated in this way, the Mistion sabotage have wrecked the power stations and the satellite control system. And there we go. Again, there's answers on page 60 there, so there must be questions. Dalek File 2, another ADF aptitude test. Forgive me for my hand being in the way, but I've got to keep this book open, otherwise if I let go of it, it's going to close. So, what is the Lake of Mutations? Where is Darren deserted except for the giant serpents? Where is the island of gushing gold, and so on. Hostage. Just as magicians use sleight of hand to bewilder their audiences, the Daleks are adept of sleight of mind and expression that conveys their ability to hoodwink their enemies. There we are. And then we go on to the next comic strip story, which is called Island of Horror. And that runs for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely artwork again. 6 pages there. And then we come to another aptitude test, and it's Dalek File 3, Dalek Terminology. And then we've got a special report from Humanoid Robot Agent Mark 7 to Space Major Joel Shaw, Supreme Commander ADF. Report rating for your eyes only. Subject, personal belongings of ADF agents Ula Vax. And that gives you information on her. The Planet that Cried Wolf is the next story, and it is a full story with monocolour illustrations. And that runs for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pages. And we also get all the answers to the questions and the quizzes and the surveillances and so on in here on that page there. And then we come to the final page, which is the inside the back cover, and that is Race to the Golden Emperor, and that is a game. It says, in an all-out battle between ADF agents and a Dalek special squad, the Golden Emperor's craft is hit and goes down on a tiny island in the middle of a wild sea. Both ADF agents and Daleks are racing to the island, fighting all the way. The Daleks want to save their leader. The ADF men want the most valuable prisoner they could have. Who will be the first to get there? And there we go. So all you need is buttons and a dice, and you can play the game. Okay, that brings us to the end of the annual. Now you're going to ask me, how well did these annuals do back in the day? Well, the Daleks were incredibly popular, as you know, and obviously they were all part of Doctor Who. Interesting enough that Doctor Who does not appear in these Dalek annuals. I'm guessing that's because this was a Terry Nations production, and he wanted it to stand alone from Doctor Who, I'm assuming, as the Doctor Who had their own annuals, which Daleks, I think the Daleks have made appearances in the annuals. I couldn't be 100% sure about that, actually. Thinking about all the stories that have gone by, I'm not 100% sure if they did have stories in the annuals. But anyway, regardless of that, there is standalone, and there's no Doctor Who that features in this Dalek annual, which is, say, a little bit surprising, but there we are. Now, of all the annuals, the Dalek annuals, they produced 7 annuals, from the very first one, which was 1965, 66, 67, and then 76, 77, 78, and this was the final one that was produced in 1979. There was, however, most recently an unofficial omnibus edition of Daleks, the Dalek Annual, produced by a non-profit making Dalek group or Doctor Who group, and they produced an omnibus edition from 1965 to 1979 of the annuals, but it was an unofficial one. What we're looking at here is obviously the official annuals. But I say, very popular. Each of the Dalek annuals done remarkably well, sold very well, and obviously Daleks were a very, very big thing. Even still in 1979, which was still Tom Baker's reign, Daleks were very, very popular. Especially after the genesis of the Daleks, which was, I think, was in 1975. Especially after that serial hit the airwaves, it catapulted the Daleks hugely again. But so anyway, yes, done remarkably well, mass produced, of course, and pretty much anybody who was anybody would have a Dalek annual. One of the 7 annuals that were produced, you would have at least one. I think in our house when I was a boy, I think I probably had all of them in actual fact, because I was very fortunate, well into my annuals at the time. I was well into all the sci-fi television series, and the Daleks was no exception to that. And I can remember waking up Christmas morning, and I'd always have a Doctor Who or a Dalek annual in my Christmas stocking and sack, amongst lots of other annuals. Remember, back in those days, there was no such thing as videos and DVD players and live streaming internet. None of that existed. So the only way to really enjoy your favourite TV programmes was things like annuals. Yeah, they did have activity books and all sorts of other media, like drawings and colouring books and so on, that you could get on with and enjoy your favourite TV programmes with. But you couldn't actually go back and watch your TV programme because there was nothing available, was no technology, wasn't there for you to watch it at the time. So annuals were very popular, as with a lot of other merchandise, as I say, like the colouring books, the activity books and all those sorts of other things, as well as obviously other merchandise, lots of toys and games and things that were produced as well on Doctor Who and the Daleks. Okay, let's move forward to 2025, which is where we are today. So we're moving forward 46 or 47 years since this book came out. Do they come up for sale very often on platforms these days? Well, not as often as I used to. 10 years ago, you could pick these up for next to nothing on the platforms. There was lots and lots of them around, all in various different states of condition, of course. But there was lots and lots appearing on the platforms. Not so much these days. Some of them still pop up from time to time, but as I say, not regularly like they used to be, and not in any abundance like they used to be. And of course, if you're going to buy on a platform, do be careful, because could be a very big difference between people's opinions of condition. Somebody's idea of very good condition could be somebody else's idea of acceptable condition. So bear that in mind. Do read the description carefully and have a good look at the images, because you could be looking at something or believing that you're going to be purchasing something and it's not the condition that you're expecting. And don't forget, some of the platforms use stock images and stock descriptions. So you could be looking at a mint book like this one is. However, if there's no new available, and there won't be new available, you're only going to see the used icon on the page. Click that used icon and read what you're about to order, because you will be disappointed otherwise, thinking that you're going to order a new book and it's going to be a tatty old warm one that comes, and you will be you. But that's the way the platforms work. It's not the fault of the seller, not the fault of the buyer. It's the way the platforms work. Silly if you ask me, but if there's no new available, it automatically goes to the cheapest used item, and those conditions could be quite poor. Now, alternatively, you don't need to go for any rigmarole. You can come straight to us at Minus Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles, where what you see in front of you is exactly the item you will receive should you wish to purchase. Now, this particular annual we're looking at today, this is all part of a shop buyout that we did just after COVID, I think it was. Now, there was a gentleman who owned the shop. Him and his lovely wife owned the shop, and they had the shop since the 1960s. However, they came back after COVID, decided they couldn't do it anymore, and asked us if we'd like to buy out all their stock, and we did. Now, amongst the stock in the warehouse was a box of all annuals. Now, the owner, he liked the annuals when they come in. If there was ones that he liked, he would take a copy out and he would put it into a box in the back room, and there they stayed, collecting them for himself, but he never actually done anything with them. He just took one out, kept it for himself, put it in a box in the back, and that was it. Now, when we bought out all the stock, there was a huge box of all sorts of, all assorted different annuals, immaculate, brand new, that had never been put onto the shelves. He kept them for himself and never even took them out and read them, just put them in a box at the back. Probably forgot about them, to be perfectly honest with you, but it was there, and it was all part of the buyout that we did. And all of those annuals that came in that box, we are making available to our customers on the My Such website. Now, they are pristine annuals, just like this is. If you went into a shop in 1978 or 79 and you saw this book on a shelf, this is exactly what the condition would be like that you would have bought back then. It is that pristine. But sadly, we only have the one copy in this condition. So if it's something you're interested in, I wouldn't hang around. I would go straight to the website and order it, because you're going to be very, very hard pushed to find another copy like this anywhere in the world. But this particular copy, we are making it available to our customers on the My Such website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many, many other vintage annuals. And many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we're uploading videos for every new item that comes in. And believe me, there is so much stuff coming in. Our team are working tirelessly behind the scenes to get the items ready for the website. So keep watching, because something special, or there's a lot of special items coming through, and it could be what you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful vintage Dalek Annual from 1979. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.